Hey everyone, Angelo here, Hollywood filmmaker, greatest screenwriter in the history of the world, recovering homeless guy. And yesterday, I helped my friend finally, after months of pushing him and proselytizing and sort of dripping information and dripping other non information onto him about the benefits of biking and urbanism and better city design through the use of public transportation, more people friendly streets, better land use. I got my friend to buy a bike. It's awesome. Now he's not going car free, nor should he. He does a lot of film work, and actually he drives Uber. So kind of ironic. Like you got to pay for the car by working with the car. But he has a very nice little EV, a Volkswagen EV, and he said he wanted to get a bike, and his budget was kind of low. So I said, well, let's get a used bike. We went to a used bike shop. We met at the Metro. He drove there, but then we took the bus. It was his first bus in a long time. And we went to a bike shop where he test rode a bike, and he said, okay, I'll get it. It was awesome. So he got a fixed gear bike. Kind of unusual choice. It's awesome. But I was like, oh yeah, I can't teach him the same way that like I ride with this variable gear bike, because first of all, he doesn't have brakes. He has to use the pedals to brake. Um, and you have to constantly pedal. You can't coast. So that means you can't pedal too fast or your feet will just slip off. It didn't have straps on it for him. But we biked a few miles. He was really loving it. He was working up a sweat, and we went to a beautiful little deli with an outdoor garden. We ate, and I'm really glad for him. So now he can ride a bike. He told me he was riding his bike later that night. He was going to ride it for a while. That's awesome. He said, yeah, I don't really work out. He wants to just do it for recreation. I'm like, that's great. And I told him, be safe. You got to fix your bike. You have to be, first of all, just practice away from people, away from cars. Do it in a safe path or an empty lot, because you can't stop as suddenly and as easily as I can, or if somebody on a variable bike can. And also, you're new to this, and people, they'll walk where they'll be. If you're on a one of the few bike lanes we have in LA, but they're getting more like numerous. Like we were riding down Venice Boulevard in the bike lanes, but we were going kind of slow, and he was messing up, but that's good. Like he was already getting better at it just in the few miles we biked. But I was making sure to go kind of slow, kind of watching his form, saying, okay, here's how to sort of like stand to one side, then launch yourself with the pedal on the other side. And first of all, my point is, people, well, I'm encouraging you, like, get a bike. By the way, is $99 the bike. It was a used bike, and he got a lock for $40. I threw down 20 for him because I know it's a little bit burdensome for him, and that's unfortunately the cost of living and all that, especially in LA. But it's not especially, really, it's the whole country. In Virginia, it's about as expensive to live in many ways. Now you do have a more extensive metro system, and Arlington and DC at least are more bikeable and walkable. But anyways, um, so being car free is what I'm saying, a little more feasible, or just car light. So I'm like, that's awesome. Like he feels the joy of biking now. And I sent him some more stuff because I was realizing like, oh, this could be kind of treacherous for you having a fixed gear bike. You can bring it to a shop and they'll probably be able to turn it into a single gear. You don't need a variable gear because that would cost a lot more to change, and I don't necessarily know if his bike can do it. But a single gear might be more feasible, and all that means is uh, basically it's like instead of the chain being directly connected to the pedals, where or whatever you call it, the drivetrain, I don't know, where the pedals have to be turning while you're moving. So that means you can't coast. And if you go too fast again, your feet will come off the pedals. You can have clamps or straps, that helps. But with the fixed or single speed, you can coast. So that makes it easier to go faster, especially down hills. And then you can put brakes on there. You can put brakes on a fixed gear too, but it doesn't fix the coasting issue. And it won't cost too much to do all that. So I'm really glad. That's amazing. That's the power of talking to people about the joy of cycling and spreading that and wanting people to take part in it and be more connected to their communities. And we were able to bike around. We went to a thrift store. I got Thomas Harris's book, Hannibal. I'll show you this proof because I got a lot of people saying I don't really buy these books that I say I will for $1. And also I picked this up in the alley behind my building. Neighbor threw it out. And a number of other books too. So, God. So I'm really glad about that. That was amazing. And now he can have fun with that, get in better shape, get the mental boost from biking. He can take it straight on the metro because he lives by a metro stop, and we can travel around on our bikes. And it's always better biking with another person. First of all, it's safer because drivers, unfortunately, just instinctively, they're not as concerned about hurting or killing a cyclist as they are about damaging their cars. Now I won't say that for all drivers or even maybe most drivers, because actually most drivers I bike around, now granted, maybe it's the streets I bike on, they're slower streets, they have bike lanes for the most part, and I'm also pretty conservative how I bike. They're very respectful. Like most of them make space for me. A lot of them, I'd say like 98% of the time when I come to a four-way stop, if I see another car coming, like they'll get to the stop first and then I'll stop and they'll just wave me forward. So I never take that for granted that they'll do that because I'm not even scared about just doing it and then like just going through the intersection and necessarily getting hit because they're watching out for me, it seems, where I'm doing it. But I'm worried about someone getting angry and trying to take it out on me because a cyclist will lose that with a car. But most of the time they want me to go through. So I'm like, oh, that's nice. So yeah, I won't even say, whoa, somebody just slams the trash dumpster lid down. Say that most drivers would be that careless, but there is enough. And unfortunately, to deter drivers who are careless around cyclists, basically they have to see that it's going to damage their car to hit you. So 2 cyclists, better than 1 because that's more weight and potentially more contact with their car. That's why even the plastic bollards that cars can just run right over and rip through, and I've seen them flattened on the road or ripped open at bike lanes. Even those are somewhat protective for cyclists because the drivers don't want to scratch their cars. It still happens, but it's better than nothing. Although the best way is separated grade entirely. So extend the sidewalk, so cyclists have that, and drivers don't even think of it as the road. But the next best way is a hardened separation between cyclists or bike paths or bike lanes and the road. So like a curb or potted plants, trees, or just concrete posts, or whatever you'd call them, concrete bollards. Not necessarily steel, because they have to have some give for drivers in case they hit them. You don't want them just slamming into a hard object and their body, like, hit the car like a bag of tomato soup and get all bloodied. Just bleed. No, that could be very dangerous for drivers. So it's got to have some give. That's why, like, at on ramps on freeways, they'll have those big canisters that they can be filled with water because, like, that's heavy, that'll stop you, but it's got some give, so you're not going to immediately come to a stop and your body will just be disintegrated by hitting the dashboard and the steering wheel. So that's awesome. I want to spread that joy. Like, he can be part of this cycling community. He can take part in Ciclavia more easily now, or he'll be more motivated to, because he could have before. And I want to encourage people out there to spread that joy of cycling and public transportation. It was great to take the bus with him. Great to be free of a car. We could just go around where we wanted, stop where we wanted, see the city in a different way. And other than that, just giving a little update. People have been asking about my mom. By the way, she's doing great. Like, I hate saying it. I feel bad that I can't film her. Like, she's in Virginia. I'm here. I'm working tirelessly on my screenplay and very busy in general. but we talk every day. She's glad for me. She's doing very well, thank goodness. She got off her cholesterol meds because she got her diet right with my help, my advice, and she got her cholesterol down. So that's great. But yeah, I want to be able to film her. I haven't filmed her in like 4 years, but we talk every day. She's doing well. I feel bad letting people down. Like, yeah, I know people are asking where my mom is. They still watch her videos. I don't, I know time is, I don't want to say slipping away, but um, it just keeps on slipping. I can't do that with a straight face into the future. And Charlie Kaufman actually quotes that song in Ant Kind. That's what I was thinking of when I was saying that. But I'm like, I can't even do it half as funny as reading it the way his narrator says it. That book is hilarious. I just started reading a few pages of it again the other day, and it so influenced me how I think about comedy now. I'm going to read it again at some point. It is very, very funny. But yeah, she's doing great. So just for the people asking, she wants to visit. I want to be able to afford her that. It's mainly just a money thing. In all ways, it's like, yeah, if she could take time off her job and do it, it'd be great. But she can't really, like, she needs to be able to be financially set up to be able to travel. And she's also like taking care of bills with a house she has in Greece because she keeps working on it to get it fixed. She wants to have it. Um, I guess to be able to visit, I don't know, or eventually give to me, I guess someday. But yeah, she's doing really well. So, and we talk, and we want to film videos here, and she's happy for me here. She's like, "Oh, you have so much there. It's so boring here in Virginia. Like you'd have nothing here, no opportunities." And now that's for me, given that I'm in film. Yeah, there aren't as many opportunities. Sure, there are for, by the way, a lot of like film people, film workers, but it's nowhere near the same as LA. If you're going to make money in film, LA is pretty much the place to do it. Of course, you can do it other places, people do, but anyways, I'm working on my writing. Seriously, working like hours a day, like an hour or two in the morning, and I'll do it in the evening, and weekends I'm doing it regularly, and I'm just taking a little break now. Because when I get like kind of stuck at a certain point, I'll like get my notebook and write out options for how I get unstuck from this point and just pick a direction and write it. And if I go back, like I can go back later and say, oh, that doesn't work. But that's been the best way to get through those sticking points for me. And also getting up and not sitting at the computer being stuck, because then I'm training myself to be stuck if that's what I'm doing. So I'm like, don't be stuck. Either write something, pick something. If things are going well for the characters, find something that's really bad that's going to happen to them that will challenge their values and threaten their progress for the goals they want to achieve and threaten their values. And then the question is, okay, how do they get out of this? And if I don't know, and if the characters don't know, and if the audience doesn't know, that's a good sign that that's an interesting way to move forward with the story, because then I have to figure it out. Because if people just know, like, oh, this isn't that hard, they'll obviously get through this, well, then that's not that interesting. And I question, how can I subvert what the characters want, subvert their expectations, the audience's expectations? A character asks one thing, reply with another question, or answer truthfully, but answer sort of the question that's adjacent to the question they ask, that reveals more about themselves. It's not just to be silly. It's always to advance something. And now it's still kind of rough because it's a draft. It's not the finished thing, but working on it. You can see my t-shirt hanging up there. I just wear that in the mornings after I shower. And it's something from my homeless days where unless I have to wash a shirt, I won't. So I wear it for like 15 minutes, 10 minutes a day, really, while I eat my breakfast, and then I take it off to work out, and then I put on my normal shirt for the day. So again, I'm doing well. I was sleeping well during the weekend. I was so excited last night and then Friday night. I just couldn't sleep that great, so that's kind of annoying. But other than that, doing well. My diet's on point. Progressives won a lot of elections here in Southern California. They're going to have a super majority in Santa Monica. They have a majority in West Hollywood now. They're going to have a majority in Culver City. That's awesome. So we can hopefully get more bike lanes, bus lanes, and bus service, along with a lot of other issues Culver City needs, like affordable housing and more dense housing. And reduce the police budget, get the budget for the bus drivers and transit hire. And the city of Los Angeles, it was more split, I think. Isabel Jurado won in, I think, District 14 over that absolute jackass, what's his name, Kevin De Leon, who said horrible, he's just chauvinist, racist, said horrible racist things in this secret recorded conversation that got other council members to leave the city council. It was just awful. And he just stubbornly stayed and fought on, even though his policies basically reflected this private moment. Like, he argued, oh, it was just whatever. It was whatever you call it, deviation, or it was just he was under pressure. He didn't know what to say. He was too nervous to speak up against this horrible racist stuff. And whatever. Jurado, she seems great. And it's great for the people of, again, I think District 14. And as for the nation, well, that's another story. This looks really bad. A lot of people are going to be in pain. A lot of families ripped apart. Going to be a lot of poverty. A lot more of the rich exploiting the poor. The mega wealthy like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, and many other like Peter Thiel, who has been like a mentor and sponsor of J.D. Vance. Eagerly side with power, and when they didn't, and Mark Zuckerberg, for instance, and when they didn't get the kind of favor from the first Trump administration that they wanted, because Trump is very petty, and he shut them out of certain opportunities because they like maybe mildly spoke against him. This time they know where their bread is buttered. They're going all in. Zuckerberg's turning more conservative. Jeff Bezos wouldn't endorse anybody before the election, and now he's so grandiose. I don't want to step in, you jackass. And anyways, it means horrible stuff in Palestine that's being done in our name, the killing. It's being it's so trivial for me to say anything about it, but I feel like I have to say something. Like, the killing that's being done in our name, it's just awful. Inconsolable pain, mass death, just our leaders and administration just lying about it, covering up. Mainstream media just practicing basically a collective punishment of Palestinians. They consider them Arabs, not like us. They consider them dirty, savage, and that's been the dominant narrative, although that's been receding more and more, which I'm surprised by, because that was not a thing like people were popularly getting behind for many years when there were critics speaking out about it, calling Palestine an open-air prison. So just, bad. And they issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu. Good. And what's his name? Goal something, I forget. Good. That's progress. As far as I'm concerned, they should issue them for Biden and Blinken as well, and do it for when Trump gets into power and when he assists in committing war crimes and atrocities in Palestine. Issue an arrest warrant for him too, in his administration. So, anyways, that's such I spin out that stuff, but everybody read something, write something, try and get your diet right, be healthy. God, RFK, that sycophantic, another chauvinist who sucking up to power, is toothless, and it seems like he's going to do some damage to our health with his conspiracy theorizing. And anyways, so we got to talk to each other, express your pain, like I was doing with my friend. Not that that's the model of what to do, but like just making sure we're doing well amongst each other. You know, I want him to be able to just have the option to take a bike. He may not even do it ever for any other reason than for leisure. Like, I don't know, maybe he'll go out and like get coffee or get a meal with his bike, but even if he doesn't do that, like, it's great to turn people on to this stuff. We need to be doing it so we have better, healthier communities, more connected communities, so we can reduce our cost of living somewhat, even if he does, and he has an EV, so it's not like he's paying for gas, but he does pay to charge it and insurance. And he has lost 2 cars to crashes. Similar story to me, and I just didn't buy another one. But it makes life expensive. And if we can reduce car usage, which a lot of cyclists own cars, that's a great option to save some money and get the health benefits of it and get community. I've made so many friends through biking. It's amazing. Like, I can't believe it. So, anyways, that's just a little update on what I've been doing. Again, my mom's doing great. So she wants, and I read the comments people still post about her, and she really appreciates it. So yeah, Angela's mom is doing well, and we will film like at some point. And I want to get my screenwriting career going, but one step at a time because I got to have great scripts written. So I'm gonna go for a walk. I think relax, and it's still like early here. It's like 11:30 or so, whatever time it is. But I've been up since 5. Well, before that, I couldn't really sleep well. And let me know what you think. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.